into my next conversation that I want to have, because we had a heated conversation the other night, me and that one over there. George Day. Oh, it was the Kanye West situation.
Oh,
but that's kind of what we was talking about. We was talking about, you know, these black people marrying these white people and blah, 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 and blah,
She's
blah, blah.
Armenian. She's not white.
Oh.
Let her tell it. She's Armenian. So
anything that's not black is white. We just want y'all to
color.
know.
She believes she's of color.
Anything that's not black is white.
Not true, because white people don't think that for sure.
Asians, Jewish people don't consider themselves white.
Anything that's not black is
Asian
white.
people don't consider themselves white.
I don't mean to be disrespectful.
Puerto Rican people don't call themselves white.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but my grandma and great-grandma, they say they're white.
Oh, my God.
But listen, Kanye West, because we was talking about this situation with Kanye West.
Kanye has a mental problem.
But wait, so the issue that we were talking about was Kanye West wanting to spend time with his children.
Uh-huh.
And George was like, that's their father.
Indeed.
And he should be able to spend time with his children.
I
say he should be able to spend time with his children, but because of his behavior that he has been displaying on social media, he should be able to spend time supervised time with his children, because I would leave him alone with the children with the behavior.
Because you believe he's going to do what to them?
But I never
There's
know.
no challenge.
We never know.
When people have irrational behavior, you don't know what they'll do at any given time.
But he's never done anything that leads you to believe he would hurt his children.
Why has he not? I don't know. We don't know everything that he's done intricately.
And I always say that Kim Kardashian has had 4 kids with Kanye West.
Yes.
And Kim Kardashian was happy with Kanye West. And for Kim Kardashian to have kids, because all the other men that she'd have been with
Allegedly
before Kanye
happy.
West, but all the other men that she'd have been with since Kanye West, she don't have no kids by him. So it was something going on. That was a love that
Allegedly.
she felt and he felt.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
But she had 4 kids by this man. And my theory is...
Do you honestly believe that Kanye would hurt his kids?
I don't know what Kanye West would do. I don't know him.
But the thing about it is, the people that hurt their kids, a lot of people didn't think they would hurt their kids.
Absolutely.
The woman that threw her kids over that bridge into that water, we didn't think she would hurt her kids.
That's a white woman.
But
it doesn't
it's just
matter.
like
Kanye
is involved with a white woman.
Kanye is someone who has clinically
been
diagnosed mental issues.
I understand
and
that.
he is acting out in episodic behavior right now.
So you're saying he should be allowed to see his children
Supervised.
under supervision?
Yeah. He doesn't need to be alone with his children. I wouldn't feel safe with that if I was his parent.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I haven't seen anything that would be indicative of the fact. Yes, he may have some
threats to people.
Go ahead.
I do know his tweets have been volatile. Some of his behaviors have been volatile. However, I don't think because of that means he's going to hurt his children.
So you would just rather wait and just see what's going to happen?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he shouldn't be maybe some kind of
supervision. They do it all the time. Regular people that you know have supervised visitation.
But that has been uncommon. Because there's been something that is indicative of them hurting the children.
Well, if you hurt anybody, we don't know if you're going to hurt the children or anybody.
But has he hurt anybody or has
he's attempted to? He said that he would. And this is another thing too with celebrity, which I stress all the time. Having worked with celebrities, we don't know what's going on. We only know what's reported and what's rumored.
Right.
They know what's really, really, really going on.
Right.
So whether or not,
but she's known that really going on before she married the man and had children.
People get beat and get in abusive relationships, and they know that. Does that take away from the fact that the person is abusive? No, it just means that you know it.
I'm just saying, she knew who that man was when she married him, when she had child 1, 2, 3, and 4.
But that doesn't change the fact that he could be a harm to the children, whether she knew it or not. So I don't even see why.
But you're doing something based on. He hasn't done anything in the eyes of the law.
That we know of.
In the eyes of the law.
That we know of.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. But if there's nothing that is documented by law, he has the right to see his children.
Supervised. That's why they set up supervised visitation, because if somebody could be a potential threat to the children, that's why we have something called supervised.
What has he done that says that he would be a threat to the children?
His behavior in general indicates that he could be a threat to anyone. Me, his children, anyone.
But no, my thing is, he has been verbally abusive. And the way that he has been going after Pete Davidson, who is another person that has suffered from mental issues. And you have created videos where you have, killed this man in these videos and stuff. And then you had an issue with your daughter getting a Twitter account when
TikTok
Kim put on a TikTok account. And it's just like, well, he's not displaying. You don't know if he's displaying this behavior in front of the kids, but if it's online, if his daughter's online, there's a possibility that she may see it. But then it's like psychologists say verbal abuse is just as bad as physical abuse. So he has been verbally abusive to me with his rants and tweets and all of this stuff. And then I feel that he showed, Kim and Kanye were in love at a point, but I think he showed her a side of him that scared the daylights out of her, which is the reason why she wanted out.
I think she was tired of his behavior.
And what behavior? What behavior?
Whether it be he's bipolar, whether it be he's never in the house, like he was in Montana or whatever he was doing with the church programs and she was in LA. Because I find it very interesting that when she and Pete are together, they're doing very regular things, going to eat or walk. That wasn't Kanye and her. I think that's what she wanted. I don't know the semantics of their relationship. I hear what you're saying about him being abusive. I do. I'm just going on the fact that, yes, he's been verbally abusive. He said things. But unless you can prove that he has done something to those children, me cursing you out and me being able to see my kids, me threatening you and me being able to see my kids, to me, are two separate things.
But see,
I haven't put my hands on my children. I just want to see them.
But the problem that I have with that is this is the same thing that we say to women who are being abused. When they call the police and they are being abused, they feel like this man is a threat and he's stalking her and he's doing this and he's doing that and he hasn't touched her or anything. But when they call the police, say he's threatening, he's showing up on my job, he's done. But what has he done to you? He has not harmed you. He has not put his hands on you. Mm-hmm. So you mean to tell me that I have to let this man physically harm me before you can do something?
But I'm trying. That is what I'm telling you.
So that's another law that needs to be changed.
That is a law. Somebody right now, somebody can stalk you. They can follow you on Facebook. They can look at your posts. They can say things. But if they don't touch you, you can have a restraining order. But if they don't touch you, there is nothing that is in the law that says that the law can do, because they haven't done anything.
But then you say that, and I have had a stalker. And I have went to court. I got a temporary restraining order, and I went to court because I wanted to get a permanent restraining order. Mm-hmm. But the judge told me after she heard both sides of the case, this person got my phone number, he was sitting outside my house and all this stuff. And the judge told me, she said, well, I can't grant you a permanent restraining order because you all had a conversation on the phone. I said, but he called my house, but you answered the phone. So I don't know who called who. All I know is both of y'all said y'all had a conversation on the phone. Mm-hmm. So I cannot grant you a permanent restraining order. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. Went outside the courtroom, and I told him, you come over my house again, the story's going to be different. Mm-hmm. And the sad thing about that is, this person is stalking me, but if that person had came on my house again and I would have beat the daylights out of that person, I would have got in more trouble than that person who was doing the stalking, who initiated the stalking.
You wouldn't have if he had put his hands on you. If he came to your house, knocked on your door, and he touched you in any kind of way, then yes, you have the right to do whatever you need to do to protect yourself. But there is nothing that says I can't sit outside of this house on this public street and look at your house if I want to. It's unfortunate, but it is the truth. It is the truth. I've had a stalker too.
So when I was at children, I'm going to bring it back to children because we're talking about adults who can defend themselves.
Yes.
If it's children can't defend themselves. And
Correct.
We don't know what can be done to children when they're alone with someone unless the child tells us. And the child might not tell us. So that's why they have, again, that's why they have something called supervised visitation. So it can be supervised.
But my thing is,
in the event that there's something that goes on. So it's not being said that he can't see the children. It's my understanding. It's that it needs to be supervised. So if you really want to see the children, supervised or not, you want to see the children, right? So then what's the issue? And if you're not going to do anything, it doesn't matter. If you supervise or not, I'm still not doing anything.
They're my children. Who are you to say that I should have supervised vision of my own children when I had... There have been threats that have been made. I've said a lot of things. That man, he hasn't touched Pete Davidson. He did a stupid video. Yes. He said some things. Yes. But what can you say definitively on paper in court that he's done?
But this is also a person who has diagnosed mental issues.
Can I stop? I have to jump in there because we keep bringing. I don't want people to demonize the fact that this man has a bipolar disorder.
It's not, hold on. It's a fact that when somebody has whatever condition, it can cause you to act.
But that does not mean that because he has a disorder. I want to say that on the record. Because he has a mental disorder does not mean that he is a danger to anyone. But you're saying potentially. Because he's bipolar.
Somebody without a mental disorder can be a potential danger to someone.
But you're saying...
I'm saying with all of the things combined, you have a recipe here. A dash of salt, a pinch of sugar, all these things make a cake. That's what I'm saying. All of the ingredients here could lead to someone being a danger.
You're saying
not one thing specifically.
But could be. But he hasn't done anything. And so therefore...
Legally.
I come from the place that I'm not going to sit here and wait for you to do it, especially if it's my children. And if I can fight for supervised visitation, please know that that's what I'm fighting for.
And here's the thing.
You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it.
Jason, I think...
And I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm talking about whomever.
I agree with what you're saying. I really, really do. And I understand the reason why you feel that way. But I guess I'm thinking from the right side of... What lawfully, if you go to court and say, I believe he's a threat and he's a danger, and you put it before a judge and you say, okay, well, he did this as a music video. Okay, he has the right to artist interpretation. He can do that. He can say whatever he wants to on social media. Plenty of people do. People threaten people's lives, literally. I'm going to kill. Now, if he says, I'm going to kill you, that's different. His language has not been that. So by law, he has not done anything as a father to his children that would lead any lawyer or any judge to say, now you deserve supervised visitation because you said some stuff.
I'm going to come back to...
I think the judge would say that some of the behavior that you have been displaying on social media, because of that behavior, then I am going to... I'm going to have to grant,
supervised visitation
because
that's why that whole thing exists. I don't know why. That's why it exists. I don't think a person can be a threat to the children.
No. The things that supervised visitation actually shows that they have done something phically to show that this person
he may have done something physically to her.
Hit the kids.
We don't know that.
But we don't know that he has.
We would know. We would know if he did something.
No, we wouldn't.
We don't know that he has.
No, we would not.
The fact that she's saying everything else that he's done, brought the balloons to the house, called the house, all the Pete Davidson text messages. If that black man, being specific,
that is
did something to that white woman,
that is,
we would know.
I don't think we would necessarily know.
Yes, we would.
I don't think we would
because she's already graduating. If you watch how she's behaving, she's graduating her stance to do the key words that white women give. Oh, I'm afraid. I'm this. She's coming up to whatever that is, that narrative that white women have done.
So she can't be afraid because she's white?
But hold on.
Jason, I'm not saying she can't be afraid because she's white. I am saying that historically, women who are not black have given a certain narrative about black men as catchphrases to shift thought processes to get rid of, just like the woman who was at the park walking her dog. Man was looking at birds. She says, I feel threatened. I'm going to say this. The man wasn't nowhere near her, but she said catchphrases to where the police came. And she was choking her dog almost out. Come to find out, that black man didn't do anything to her. But she said the words, she said the catchphrases, and had it not been for the video or some other things that she said, he could be in prison by now. I'm not saying Kanye West is doing the right thing. I do think some of the language that he's using and some of the behavior that he's using is alarming.
But you know
but
what?
do I believe in my heart and my gut that Kanye West would hurt his own children and deserves to have supervised visitations? I can't say that. I don't know enough information, but I'm not going to say that that black man shouldn't be able to see his children.
So since we don't have enough information, why can't we just say that supervised visitation could be good if that's what it's
asked for? Because we
don't know enough information either way.
But here's the thing. Let me say this. What if everything he's saying and doing is crazy, because we do know he's a celebrity. You know, vibrato is what they do. But let's just say behind closed doors, he's hurt, he's acting out, he's lashing out, he wants his wife back, and these are the ways that he's choosing to do it, which are errors, but he shouldn't be doing them. In conjunction with the fact that he has children that he wants to see, and let's just say she's not allowing him to see her children. Let's just say she's playing a role, and she's acting like, oh my God, he's so crazy looking, da-da-da-da, but she's not letting him see them. And then a court says, well, because she said da-da-da-da-da, then now we've got to do supervised visitation because this black man that she's been married to for all these years with these 4 kids, all of a sudden he's crazy. He could kill the kids.
But my thing about that is I take it back to the original statement. When you say that she's playing, you know, she's giving these catchphrases and all of that. Kanye West is not the first black man to be involved with a white woman.
No.
And a lot of people have been saying that they don't trust white people. And if Kanye West felt like he was in love with Kim Kardashian, then I feel just like when you become a celebrity and the paparazzi come with the territory, then that is a chance that you take when you want to date outside your race. Because the same thing happened with O.J. Simpson. The same thing happened with some other black men that were in the same shoes that Kanye West was in. But when you take on that role and that responsibility to date outside of your race, you give them the power to use catchphrases and stuff like that when they're ready to get out. But when you set up and make that decision, and then it's just like now you're in a situation and you want her to be like, she's something. You want her to be like the person that you met when you laid up with her to have these 4 kids. She's just playing something different.
I don't care about what their relationship is. The question was, should Kanye have supervised visits with his children? And I don't believe I have enough information that says, yes, he needs to be supervised based on the fact that she's saying whatever she's saying and however he's acting. I don't see anything. You haven't said anything to me that he said about his children that warrants him having supervised visitation. Now, if he wanted to just go see Kim, and then I'd be like, okay, yeah, well, maybe somebody need to go with him to go see Kim because he said
so. Let me ask you this. How many cases have we heard of men who even just kidnap the children because they do want to get back with the wife? How many times have we heard of situations like that? How many times? Because he hasn't had the opportunity.
Yes, he has. Matter of fact, he just...
And the people that have done it, they didn't do it until they did. So that's not an argument either.
But my thing...
I guess it's hard for me to say give supervised visitations to a man when he hasn't done anything to his children.
This man has not been acting like an adult in a lot of situations.
But that's been way before he had kids.
So he probably should have had... He should probably always have had supervised visitation then, if that's the case. If that's really the reality of it.
But y'all acting like Kanye's actions now are something that's strange.
So I'm going to say something that I say a lot, too. I'm going to say something that I say a lot. I really don't care. Because I don't know Kanye or Kim.
The thing about it, we're not acting like Kanye hasn't always been
how he is.
But we are now saying, now that kids are involved,
it's different.
Then we have to look at Kanye West differently.
And it's for the safety
of
the
children. But here's the thing I think that's interesting too. Kanye was just at a ball game, basketball or something, with his daughter or with his kids.
And he was dressed just like him.
Okay, so what in that visitation, did something come up that said, oh, he's abusive? He's spending time with his... I guess this is the problem that I have. This is another black man who wants to spend time with his children. And we're like, oh no, he needs to be supervised.
No,
he's too volatile. We don't know what he might do. He's got to be looked at.
But see, we're not saying that he needs to be supervised with the kids because he hasn't given us a reason. He has not given us a reason to. It's just like Kim Kardashian stated that Kanye West don't take his medicine. Kanye West admitted that he don't take his medicine. And when he's off his meds, he goes off on these rants and stuff. Mm-hmm. So then Kanye gets on social media and says that, she won't let me see my kids. Kim gets on social media, which she didn't want to do. She's like, I don't want to handle this on social media, but he have all these accusations that he's putting out there about I'm holding his kids from him. What are you talking about? You just picked them up from school. What are you talking about? Such and such went with you. You had all the kids with you, and I kept North here because North had a very important test, and I didn't want her to miss the test. Mm-hmm. So it's just like you saying that she's acting one way, but she's showing that, I want you to be with your kids and everything, but
okay, well then why does he need to be supervised then?
Because to me, the reason he has to be supervised is because although she is allowing him to do stuff like that, she has saw a side of him that scared the bejesus out of her. And she knows that these are these kids' father. And her kids are probably telling her, Mama, I want to be with Dad and blah, blah, blah. And she's scared to death to send them kids with Kanye because she know the side of him that she has seen. But she also knows that those are his kids. So she allowed it to happen. But when he's with those kids, I know she's about to go crazy. Because she know that person that she saw that scared the bejesus out of her is along with her children. So basically
you're saying these kids, for however long that they have to grow up or whatever, they feel like they need to be supervised.
And I don't think that's what it says either, because it can always be revisited. It's not for the eternity of their life.
Well, like you said, I don't know Kim, I don't know Kanye. I just am like, lawfully, I don't think it's fair. That's and I'm gonna stand to that.
I'm your girl, Miss Sophia, holding it down right here on We Are Your Radio. We Are Your Radio. We are the home of the urban sound of pride. Y'all see why they wanted me to come in here on Saturday? Child, come on, let's ride. Let me go over this here.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer. And again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
Call to low
Correct.
But her fiance fired shots at the police. They were in the wrong house, and they were in their house. So then the police was not charged, but they tried to charge him. Now, according to the law, he was in his lawful. He was in his right. But they dropped the charges. But why weren't the police charged?
19 seconds.
Because it's the law. No. They were lawfully doing their job.
They made a mistake.
They
made a mistake. They went in the wrong house.
Just like they did it here in Atlanta with the old.
Big body, baby, built like a Hummer. I hit the DM, I ain't even need the number.
The time has come for you to lip sync for your life.
Another throwback on We Are You Radio, the urban sound of pride.
Welcome back to Club Chit Chat with your DJ, Miss Sophia, right here. We Are You Radio. We Are You Radio. We're the home of the urban sound of pride.
We be here fighting.
Baby. I would never come in here on another Saturday.
Yes, you will.
I am never coming here to spend my Saturday like this. I was on such a high. I was off yesterday. I didn't even go to the office yesterday. But, baby, I came here today. Charlie, you know, and I just feel like, see, that's what they say, honey. Don't go to work on your off day, because that's the day you're going to get fired. I'm in here with these niggas, and these niggas carried on, so this might be my last day. Tell them who you are, nigga.
Oh, she talking to me. She talking to me. I don't know who she talking to.
Hey.
I don't answer to that word. I do not answer to that word. That is a white racist word.
I
don't
come on, my
God.
No, I
don't. Do you use it? Do you use that word?
No, I don't.
See, there we go to talk about. We just got to talk about lying. We just got to talk about lying. You over here invented Anna. Now you on invented Anna.
Nope.
No, this is my girlfriend.
And if you'd like to participate in the conversation, you can call 678-839-9378. For those of you watching us on YouTube, 678-839-9378 to participate in the conversation. We've talked about a lot of stuff this morning. It is the weekend edition of Club Chit Chat. I'm your producer, George Daigle. Carry on.
Please call. I would love to talk. If you got something you want to talk about, call, and we'll talk about that too.
Oh, no, I can't talk about nothing else.
Oh, yeah, we talking. That's what this is.
Y'all go ahead and talk. Y'all go ahead and
chat and smile.
Y'all go ahead and have a kiki.
No, we're good.
I'm Kiki guy. But tell them who you are.
Jaquitta Williams.
And you are
Jason Mclothin.
And that's George Daigle over there running the board and the cameras and everything, honey. And I'm your girl, honey. Oprah Winfrey, honey. Hey, child. That last conversation we were talking about Kanye West and Kim. Then before that we were talking about, the Republicans over there showing out at the hearing for the Supreme Court nominee. And this, I don't know what, girl, you got to talk about something like...
It's just hard being black in America, okay? Let's just put it. That's what it is. It's hard being black.
They keep telling y'all to go on back to Africa.
I didn't bring myself here.
Well, you want a free ride back? I'm sure they'll give you a free ride back. Listen.
I don't know. They probably charge me.
Listen, on a happy note, though, we can talk about, we getting ready for the Studio 13 reunion in Houston, Texas.
I don't know what that is.
Studio 13 is the club that a lot of the black kids got started at in Houston. Me, Tommy Ross, a whole lot of the black kids that are really doing well.
Me, Jason Mclothin.
He was just sitting at the front door. Him and his boyfriend, they were sitting outside in the parking lot. They was too young to come in the club, but the person that was running the door at that time was letting them in, honey. How long were you came to the club? Like 12?
I think I'm going to have to get clarity. I might have just turned 16. But back in that time, you could be 18 to enter a club, but you had to be 21 to drink. So I wasn't really that much off. I wasn't 18. I might have been 16. And actually, my first boyfriend, I didn't meet him at the club. We started coming together after we dated. He was older than me, so he was technically, he would have been old enough even then.
Jason.
I guess I did. Even my friends were always older than me, which is one of the reasons that we kind of ended up at Studio 13. Yeah, my friends are still older than me. Present company included. So, it's hard being the baby, but someone's got to do it, But, that was really...
When I was young, I used to kick people in their neck.
Now you can't lift your leg up to 2.
I can still kick, but not as high. I gotta wait till he praying to go kick that nigga in his neck.
No need for that. No need for that. But yeah, Studio 13. That was
Studio 13 is the club that we all started at when we were like younger, and we're getting ready to do a reunion. And the reunion is going to take place on July 13th. The show is going to start at 13 after the hour. And every time we release something, we already release it on the 13th day, or we release the information, the 13th hour.
I like 13. That's my line number.
Really?
I was born on the 13th.
So you have to come. You have to come. You have to make reservations.
I was born on the 13th of April.
But people need to go
Aries in the house.
Birthday coming up. And speaking of birthdays, Tommy Ross's, her birthday is coming up like on the 28th. 28th is Tommy's birthday. So
do I know who that is? Tommy Ross?
Probably not.
Okay.
But we are putting this event together. It's going to take place July 13th at the Ballroom at Bayou Place in Houston, Texas.
All right,
now,
Houston.
You could go to my Facebook page or Tommy Ross Facebook page or the Studio 13 Reunion Facebook page and get all the information about the hotel. You get the information about tickets. Tickets are on sale. And we have different tier of the tickets, like the 1318. That's the address of Studio 13. We have a 1318 section, and those sections are going for 1318. And it comes with everything. Everything's included. Your food, you get bottle service, you get valet parking, you get the hookahs, everything that we have. Everything is all inclusive, and those tickets are $13.18, but they're for sections of 8, so that totals out to like $160 each person. And then we have the platinum section, which seats 4. Those tickets are a little bit more than the $13.18, and you get everything that the $13.18 section get, except the 2 bottle service. You only get 1 bottle service. Then we have the couple section, just seats for 2. You get everything that the other 2 VIP tables get, except you don't get a bottle service. You get 3 drinks per person. And when we say bottle service, it's not champagne. It's hard liquor. You get 2 bottles of vodka or Grey Goose or whatever you want. You get 2 bottles if you're in the 13-18 section. And if you're in the platinum section, you get 1 bottle. So a lot of people say, champagne. I don't know, baby. We give you hard liquor.
What if I want champagne? I can't.
If you want champagne, we have champagne there. You can get champagne.
For my bottle service.
For your bottle service? No, your bottle service. I'm sure everybody at your table is not going to want no champagne.
Now,
for
how you
going to
speak for the people at my table?
I'm just there.
Ooh. You can't do that. You don't know what they want. No, but you don't know what the people at my table want.
I know.
I didn't even know you drank, Jason.
He don't, but on occasions.
Don't be in my business now. I'm trying to get my 1318 champagne bottle service.
On occasions he drank, but the people that he came with, they love hard liquor. And he loved for them to get that hard liquor in their system. Because when they finish, okay. But yeah. But if we have general admission is $35. Okay. And that's what it is, $35. If you want to eat,
it's going to be a good time.
Oh, it's going to be an awesome time.
Are you performing?
Honey. Oh, girl, you think I'm not? Yeah, no, but tell me. And that's another thing. Only people can perform on the show are people that performed at Studio 13. If you were in a pageant, if you was in a talent night, if you was a special guest on the Ladies of the 80s show, or if you performed in any capacity at Studio 13, if you were on that stage, you can perform.
Oh, cool.
But a lot of these young people, they wasn't around during then. They can't perform. And also, you could only do music from that era.
Oh, good. So like the 90s?
Won't be no Cardi B. Won't be 90s, no Beyonce. Won't be no Nicki Minaj.
Beyonce was around in the 90s, weren't they?
No
With Destiny's Child?
No, ma'am.
They weren't around in the 90s?
Not the early 90s.
Not when the studio was open.
Oh.
Because they closed, what, in 94 or 5?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Okay, gotcha. All right, no problem.
Honey.
Good.
It's going to be nice.
Congratulations. That sounds like fun.
It's going to be nice.
It's going to be fun.
Now back to the hot topics. Not Ruth. What's the woman name? We talked about her earlier. Who? No, we talked about Tanji. No, the lady, Madeleine Albright. Albright, Secretary of State. Do you know her?
I mean, I thought we were done with that. What we going
back to?
I just brought her up. Right? We ain't talk about it. We ain't talk about it. Well, what y'all want to talk about? I'm sorry, Miss Madeline. I am so sorry, Miss Madeline. I just brought it up that you passed. We did not discuss you. But I'm sorry, Miss Madeline. What y'all want to talk about?
I can't think of nothing to the top of my head right now.
Break and y'all come back.
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you, George.
Okay. All right. See, that's why you have a producer. Produce it.
Hallelujah.
What is? You talking about that nigga over there? I'm gonna have to leave that word. Oh, I know what we can talk about. I want to tell y'all this. I didn't want to say it until we got on the air.
What?
So I did start my new eating habits. I am no longer eating fried food, no longer eating chips, no longer eating cookies and candy and all that stuff. No sodas. I started this Monday. I started my new eating habit.
Oh,
you know, I don't call it a diet.
Good.
So then it's just like I was gonna wait until Monday because I started Monday, and I was gonna wait till Monday to start because after 10 I don't eat from 10 to 6. I don't eat from 10 to 6. So it's just like last night I said, well, let me just go on and start it now, not eating from 10 to 6. So all the thing I do when I get hungry, I get my little water. So are you
trying to lose weight or what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my high school shirt back, honey.
I got you.
But so then last night, I went to bed. I was watching the basketball game. So then I went to sleep early. When I woke up, it was 10:30. I couldn't give me nothing.
This is so random.
Couldn't give me nothing to eat, girl. I had to wait till 6 this morning, so I got up like 3:30. I was like, oh, baby, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to 6. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to 6. But
you made it,
right?
But
I made it, yeah. So I wanted to ask you this. You don't forget your question that you had.
I won't.
So I wanted to ask you this because the last time I did it, I think I drank like just water, clear water. So it's like this sparkling water, flavor sparkling water. Is that cool?
So
it doesn't have any calories.
As long as it doesn't have calories or sugar in it.
And it doesn't. I do sparkling water.
So you have to pay
sparkling
attention.
Ice.
You have to pay attention to which ones you drink because some of them
they don't have any calories in them.
None of them at all.
No.
Or
Sparkling Ice, that brand.
Oh, that
Sparkling
brand.
Ice.
Okay.
That's what I have.
It has no sugar.
Pay attention to the brand to make sure that that's what you have, the ice.
No calories.
Why can't you just drink regular water?
I do. I have regular water too, so I'm gonna do
just
a
to have
But it's just like when you
a little taste to it.
Between the hours of like last night, I went to bed. Well, I was watching the basketball game, the NCAA championship, playoffs and stuff and all that stuff, the tournament. So then I ended up falling asleep during the game. So it's like 8 o'clock, around 8 o'clock. So I had time to get up and go and get me some yogurt and a granola bar and put it in my mouth before I sit for the food.
So when you did it, were you hungry or did you just feel like, ooh, it's this time I should eat something because I'm not, when you got the yogurt and granola bar, were you hungry or did you just feel like?
I didn't get to do it because I woke up, it was 10:30. So
you were eating because of the time.
Yeah, because I know it's like at 10, you're not going to be able to put nothing in here, honey. So it's just like I didn't do it because of the time. But then I got up and I fixed some turkey, some ground turkey, and I baked it. I said, okay, I'm going to try to bake this and it'll be ready. But then what I wanted, when I got to eating, honey, I said, it's just like eating a turkey patty, honey. So I'm like, okay. But then I have my salads, my yogurt, my pomegranate juice, and grapefruit juice, and I got my grapefruit, the cut up grapefruits that they sell and all that, and da. But yeah, healthy stuff, girl. Fish. I have fish for dinner yesterday.
I'm excited, and I hope everything works out as you want it to.
You can do it. You can.
I know you can do it. Okay, my question was something that you originally said at the top of the show about trans women not being considered real women.
I'm sorry. I have a question. You can go back to that, but I can't go back to Malin Albright. I'm sorry, Miss Albright. But no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't understand. Like, who said that?
It's the Republicans. That's the Republicans. That's why they were trying to get her to give her definition of what a woman, her definition of a woman, because they don't consider trans women real women. You're not born a biological woman, and the Constitution, when the Constitution referred to women, it's talking about women that are born biologically women. So some of the Republicans, the majority of the Republicans don't recognize trans women as biologically born women. So
now that part is true. They're not biologically born.
So therefore, they feel like they shouldn't be put in the same category with women, cisgender women.
Or have rights.
Yeah. So that was their whole take on asking her that question, because if she identify a trans woman just like a woman is a woman, trans woman is just a woman, she's just a woman. So then they want to use that against her, but to strong their argument. But her thing is like, my personal opinion don't have nothing to do with this. I have to deal with the law, so that's not a question that I should answer.
I agree. But the only thing that does confuse me, though, there's this commercial for PrEP, and they say something about at the end, if you're a trans woman, what does it say? If you're biologically born a woman, like if you're a cisgender woman, the medication won't work for you. So basically, it's saying if you were originally a man, but you're a trans woman, it would still work for that kind of person, but it wouldn't work for me. And then I also wonder too, like, let's just say if you were in prison lockup, and they had to put a trans woman somewhere. Does the trans woman, is she in the lockup with women, or is she in the lockup with men?
That's a good
How does
question.
that work?
That's a good question.
I can answer that. A lot of times, and there's been several issues recently. There was one in, what's the big prison in New York, Rikers Island, where a transgender woman was locked up in general population with men. The policy is that the transgender woman should not be in lockup. She had documentation that she was, but the officers locked her up in there. She was raped in that facility 3 times.
Oh, wow.
While she was in there. They knew that she was, but the policy is that in most facilities that there is a population where they are in the jail facility.
So do you have to change it by law, like on your driver's license or a birth certificate?
If you have documentation that you are a transgender woman, I mean, they can kind of see you got breasts, but that is what the law in most facilities. Well, if they can see you have breasts, but down below you can still have your genital, right? But you are still a transgender woman by definition.
Then what does that? So does that mean if you're do you go with? That confuses me.
You can be. I think.
If you have
I think we need to get somebody on the phone who's trans. Because I know a lot of people.
Well, I mean, I've been doing the story for. I do the stories a bunch.
But the thing about it is, because originally I know that when people like trans, they identified as trans and all that, they sent them to the jail. They sent them to the prison or the jail with what they were born as, and they separated them from the population. So if it has changed, then
it has changed.
But not in all states. Some states it's probably still like that.
In most states, if you. For example, if you have like a mental issue or stuff like that, there are special recommendations, special policies that they have to follow as a jail. And so when you identify as a transgender woman, you are generally put in a women's prison. Like you did indicate, though, you are separated in that women's prison, but you are supposed to be sent to a women's prison for your safety.
But that law is not universal. It's not just across the board.
Generally, it is, yes.
So are you
if you have documentation that says you are a transgender woman, yes, the law is you are supposed to be put in a special facility for your prescribed gender.
So
that's
what
the
is
law.
The documentation? Because some of the people, they still have, like, although they're transgender, they still have male on their ID.
If the doctor says they're treating you, if you can prove that you're being treated by a doctor and you are transgender, you're taking hormones, you had surgeries of any type, that is indicative that you are a transgender person, and therefore you should be treated as a transgender person. So
even if you are a transgender, okay, let's see. So if I'm a woman, if I'm a transgender man, and if I go to lockup, then I am to be housed with other men.
With other men, but separated. So that, here's the thing, the real deal is that they're trying to create a environment of safety. We got 1 minute. Environment of safety. And for the protocols that are in place, especially in this.
How are you going to be separated in prison or in jail or in lockup?
Solitary confinement.
Just because
they would put them in solitary confinement.
Because I'm trans.
But I thought you go in solitary confinement if you are having emotional issues.
Sometimes, but they do that as they have used it, which again is being in the Supreme Court, because that is mental anguish of some type. Because you're separated, you don't have any interaction at all. But they're doing it for the safety because there's really no real clear, concise facilities.
Place to put you.
Right, exactly.
Interesting. It's very confusing.
Yeah,
but okay.
And it's several cases. I've been reporting on it.
It's confusing.
It's confusing to the law enforcement because many of them are still having to figure it out. But there are policies in place, and there are several lawsuits going up to the Supreme Court about this.
About transgender.
I'm not a trans man.
I got one more question because I was watching a crime drama and there was a transgender woman who was murdered by an athlete, and the athlete killed the transgender woman because the transgender woman was going to out him. So what is the protocol call in regards to transgender people? Is it a do you let people know that you are if you're trying to date somebody who is a heterosexual person, or is it a case by case thing?
It's case by case.
Okay.
And that's the conversation that's been had, but it's just like it's case by case because there are different scenarios. You know, some trans women feel like, you know, if I'm dating somebody, if I'm just out getting to know you, if I'm dating you, then I shouldn't have to tell you all of my business up front because I don't even know if this is going to last or if we're going to work out, if we're going to have more than this one date.
Right.
So then some people say, well, I think you should, you know, let that person know up front because I think you're being misleading. It's just like, well, no, if you dating somebody, if you're a heterosexual woman, you dating a heterosexual man, y'all meet for the first time, you ain't gonna tell him all your business on your first date.
Yeah, but I do think he's a heterosexual man, though.
It's a hot topic. This could be a whole conversation.
But here's the thing: if I were dating a transgender man, I would need to know that.
No, but
going on a date, because here's the thing: I wouldn't go on a date with you if I knew you were a transgender man. Because I want an actual man. Yeah. A heterosexual man. Yeah. Excuse me.
Transgender men can be heterosexual.
No, but her definition she want a man. She want a biologically born man.
Cisgender man.
Yes, I want him born with the tool that, I want that thing.
But a transgender man can be heterosexual.
How can a transgender man be heterosexual?
According to the definition.
Yes.
According to the definition. But that's not what she's going by. She's going by what you were born as. She's not looking for no definition. She want a man. She want a man that God created, not a man that man created.
And I don't think telling something like that on a first date with someone is telling all of your business. I think that's telling necessary business because you don't know if the person wants to date a cisgender or a transgender. That's something that you would want them to know for you and for them right up front to me.
Because here's the thing, there wouldn't be a date if I knew that you were a transgender man.
But this conversation is the conversation that is.
Maya, I was trying to get her on the phone.
This conversation is the conversation that was had when it comes to. He threw me off. I was going to say something. You talking about the transgender? What did you say?
Whether a transgender woman and being in lockup, and then
she wouldn't want to date us.
I wouldn't want to date a transgender man.
And I said that was something that you would want to know on the first date because they may not want to.
Because I wouldn't. Here's the thing: I would want to know that because I wouldn't go out on a date with a transgender man.
So this is the thing that we are living in. Oh, that's what I was getting ready to say because that's the conversation that everybody's having when they talk about living in Atlanta. They're like half of the population in Atlanta is gay. So you gotta know. You don't know who you date. You dating a man, but it might be a gay man, and everybody gay, and the majority of the people is gay, and all that. So it's the same conversation. It's just like, child, we live in a different time, and you just have to be careful.
It's different but here's the thing: if I would rather go,
be careful or be honest. I think be honest.
I think be honest. Yeah, I think that's.
But no, I don't think disclosing information is not being honest. Just not fully disclosing all the information. It's just like at a certain point, if I feel like this is work,
that's dishonest.
If I feel like this is going to work, then I can go on and let you know a little bit more about me.
But here's the thing. Again, I think if you're in the community, I don't think it needs to be a first-hand conversation. But let's just say if you meet
it does.
Okay. Okay. But because I'm a heterosexual woman or a cisgender woman, then if I encounter a transgender man, it would be important for me to know that.
So now that you know that,
okay.
Now that you know that, and you know what kind of world we live in now, that should be a question you ask. You shouldn't have to wait for them to disclose that information. If this that important to you, then you need to ask. Listen, baby, I know where we are, and but I don't mean no disrespect.
But why is the onus on me?
Because that's just important
like
to you.
Ask somebody's HIV status if you're going to have sex with them. Just like you ask somebody if they have good credit if y'all getting ready to get an apartment together. These are questions that you're going to ask because you need to be informed about that. So
but
that would be that.
But it
would be the same question if you asked a man about a cisgender man if he was gay.
Yes,
that would be the same question you would ask. Why would you ask that?
But just like he would ask me, "Am I gay?" Like so, I do think that I guess what I'm trying to say is yes. Would I ask? Yeah, but because I come from a journalism background, so I ask a lot of stuff that normal people probably would not ask, or probably think is probably a little too forward to ask. But then I also think if I am somebody who is pursuing somebody I know who is a heterosexual woman who probably doesn't know that I am transgender, whatever, where is the onus on the person? Or is it just on me to do all of the asking and the work?
If that person is pursuing you, then that person probably knows that you are a biological born woman. So that person has no problem dating a biological born woman, knowing that they come from the trans world. So if that's something that's important to you, because apparently it's not important to that person because they approached you knowing that. But if that's a question and a concern that you have, then I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Baby, listen, I know where we are now, so I just have to know this. Were you born biological, or you a biologically born man?
But you don't think some onus should be on the fact that if I'm changing my gender because I feel like I am a transgender, I feel like a man, there is no onus to tell that person that?
Because the whole purpose in them doing that is because this is what I identify as.
I understand that you identify as.
So if I identify as that, then why would I go and give you the history of, where I come from and how did I get to where I am right now? I don't, because it's just like,
I don't like that.
No,
I don't like that.
But there's also a danger in them giving, because every trans person is not going to be wanting to out themselves. Say, for example, you did meet on the dating line, if you were on the dating app, and you did go out on a date, and y'all are at the table, and y'all are having a conversation, and y'all are hitting it off. And maybe in the back of your mind, back of their mind, you might not be tolerable to transgender people. You might feel they're the scourge of the earth, or blah, 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 blah. If I am not knowing who you are, where you are, your mindset, why would I tell you that and then you use that against me? That becomes something that now you go tell your friend, oh, so-and-so on the dating app is this, that, and the third and the fourth. And now their life is in danger simply because they are.
No, but I think that even if she asks the question and they tell her, it's the same thing. She still has the information.
My thing is, I don't think I should have to ask the question.
Why?
I'm thinking it should be told.
Why you don't feel like you have to ask?
Yeah.
Why do I have to ask when you know that you are?
We don't know.
You're operating else though.
Hold on.
You would ask if they, you would ask if they were married. You would ask if they had kids. Wouldn't you ask those things?
Some of those things I would ask.
But if that's something important to you, why wouldn't you ask?
But there is a difference in, let's just say, if I am having a conversation with you on the phone or what have you, and I ask, hey, are you married? And he says, yes. We're never going on a date. I'm never going to date you.
So if you
then my thing is, let's just say if I don't ask that question on the phone and you ask me out on a date because you're pursuing me, you want to court me. You don't think that that's important to say?
So I think my opinion, I think that the person, I would hope that the person would tell that. I would hope that that would be just information that in our conversation, as we talk about who we are on our first date, like where'd you go to school, where were you born, where'd you grow up, I would hope that that person would be forthright with that information, because that also establishes trust, I think, at the very beginning.
I agree.
And whose responsibility it is to ask, I mean, we can go back and forth about that to me all day, but I think that that is definitely a conversation that should be had immediately for all parties involved.
I agree.
And to me, that's with most things that you deem important that could kind of determine whether or not a person is going to date you or not. And, maybe it's not the very first thing you say, but on the date, if we feel like we're feeling each other, one or the other person, hopefully we will have these conversations. And I think that maybe the more that we are just, like you said, just like you would ask, are you married? Do you have kids? The more that we're nonchalant about it, I think the easier it would become to just have these conversations on both parts. But I do think that something like that is important to have a conversation about on the first date, especially if you feel that you're into them. Now, if you're on the first date and for some other reason, oh, I'm not going to date them anymore, regardless of what they are, then maybe you don't have the conversation.
But I want to know, why is it that she feels that that's not a question that she should ask?
I want to know why it's not a question that you don't feel like somebody should say.
Here we are back and forth, back in tennis. Welcome to Wimbledon.
Because they went through this, and That's important to you.
Hold on. It's important to heterosexual people, I believe.
I would think it would also be important to the transgender person, though, that they were dating someone that wanted to date them. Because I don't want to date anybody that doesn't want to date me.
And I do think, here's the other caveat. Because I've seen that story more than once, I think it's dangerous when people don't provide information that is important, and then when people find out, it can lead to, it's led to death before.
And it creates distrust. Like, if I find out on date 22, then I'm now thinking, well, what else haven't you told me?
But no, I'm not saying.
So you're saying the onus is not on the person that is the transgender person. The onus is on me.
The thing about it is, speaking with transgender people, it's not that I'm not going to tell you. That is something that they feel that I shouldn't have to disclose on my first date. I shouldn't have to disclose that on my first date. But if you're because I don't know if this is going to work out between me and you.
But obviously, if you're going on a date, there is the possibility that it could work out. Yes, that's why you're going on the date. You're trying to discover, right? So if I'm going to discover certain things about somebody, why wouldn't I tell them at the top? What is that?
Because you have a list of things that you want and things that you don't want.
Correct.
They have a list of things that they want and they don't want.
Okay.
And then it's just like the priorities on your list are different from their priorities on that list. It's not that they don't want to disclose that information to you at the beginning. They have it on their list to disclose that information to you, but it's not right now. So all I'm saying to you is that's higher up on your priority list. So if it's higher up on your priority list and they're not forthcoming with that information, just ask that.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with it. You ask it.
Okay. I just feel like before you even, if you're not disclosing it, and let's just say if you're on date 5 and now I'm invested, I like you, I want to know more, and now this truth that you have to tell me, which is a deal breaker, in my opinion, then I feel like I've been, I don't know, bamboozled or lied to, or you didn't hold certain truths up top. Because, I mean, here's the thing. If somebody asked me, there's nothing really, anything that anybody couldn't ask me that I wouldn't answer.
So why you want to ask? Why you want to ask?
I guess knowing now that I will have to. Oh, somebody's on the phone? Let's get with it.
All right.
Who is this? Hello?
Caller, are you there?
Hello, this is Samaya Turner, the Lioness on the ones and twos. From the phone, I guess, giving everybody the blues.
Hey, Samaya, how you doing? We were just having this
I am phenomenal.
We were in the studio having a conversation about trans men and trans women, and then the first conversation we was having was, is it the law when a trans person is put in jail, what jail are they sent to?
Well, yeah, I'll say if it's in the Deep South, anywhere in the Bible Belt, you're definitely going to the, if you are a pre-op trans woman, in a lot of states, you're going to the men's jail.
So explain what pre-op is for everybody just quickly.
Sure, pre-operative. So trans women, as a part of their transition, may or may not elect to have surgeries of some sort or kind. Mm-hmm. And we call trans women who have had no surgeries or who are interested in surgery, who say they pre-op, but you can be pre-op, meaning before surgery. You can be post-op, meaning after surgery, or you can be non-op, meaning you don't want to have a surgery. So we do want to hold space for those women too. But yeah, in the case of a woman being pre-op or not having a surgery at all, they would put her in the men's jail, unfortunately.
And you say that's in the Bible Belt in the South, pretty much. That's pretty much how it be.
Yes, I think there's a few exceptions. I believe Seattle, Washington, or Washington in particular, Washington State is an exception. I believe there are, some states have different provisions. And I know in some prison systems, they also do like solitary confinement for the girls, which is arguably just as inhumane as putting them in general population with men. But yeah, in a lot of cases, they're going to either put you in they're going to eventually put you with men, or they're going to put you in solitary confinement of sorts.
Okay. And the other conversation that we were having is if a trans man or trans woman decide to date a cisgender man or a cisgender woman
has interest, not date. Let's say just say has interest.
Okay, you go ahead.
No, are you still there?
Samaya?
I'm here. I'm listening.
Sorry.
I'm hearing the back and forth. I'm just. It's exciting for me. I would say at popcorn.
Okay, so let's just say if the transgender man or woman has interest in a cisgendered person, is it up to the transgender person to let that information be known to the cisgendered person before they?
So at what point are we talking? So yes, yes. So to blanketly answer, it is the responsibility of the trans person to tell somebody that they're dating that they're trans at some point because that's who you are. Right. However, when is what I think my question is. When are y'all talking about?
Yes. So I'm saying, like, let's just say if you're in a grocery store, you're walking down the aisles, you see a handsome guy, he sees you, he says hello, and then he asks for your number, you have a phone call, and then he asks you on a date, but at the time you don't know that the woman or the guy is cisgendered, but I am a heterosexual man or a woman. Or cisgendered.
Oh, so I can definitely answer this. So the world would like us to say, you're supposed to tell them immediately from the time when he looked at you, I'm a trans woman. You're supposed to get shouted out at the grocery store. But in real life, that is a safety risk. And I believe that a trans woman should not be telling just any random person that she meets that she's trans. Because here's the reality. If we live in a world where trans women weren't getting murdered for who they are, I would say, yes, go ahead and tell your truth, girl. Tell them right then and there. However, we live in a world where you could tell someone that truth, and you haven't assessed whether or not they are a threat to you, or they may go and tell that information and put you at risk on your job, put you at risk in a lot of areas of your life. What I tell trans women is the conversation does not necessarily need to be had just because a man is dating you, but it does need to be had before y'all have physical contact. Because I do think that is a part of consent, is knowing exactly what you're consenting to. But I don't believe that it has to be just because you're taking me on a date, you're entitled to know my medical history. Now, if on that date we're getting hot and heavy and it's getting frisky, okay, then maybe I need to find a strategy for revealing that information if I'm letting that happen.
Right.
But if I'm not allowing you to put your hands on me and we're just having conversation on a date, I don't understand why you would need to know that information.
Okay. So, Samaya, I have a question, too, to add to that. So what if on the first date we are finding, we're not getting physical, but we are finding that we really are into each other, and we even both express, I really like you and blah, 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 blah. Like, would it be perhaps time to say it then or...
So then that's the purpose of dating, I believe, to getting to know the person. So in theory, if the date is going well, I feel safe. I should feel safe. The person should have made me feel safe enough where that's a part of the getting to know me process. Right. So then it should come up in conversation. I'm not going to lie and avoid it because I don't think there's nothing wrong with being a trans person.
Right.
But I do believe that you are entitled, but I think you have to create that safe space. And that's what the man is doing, is taking me on a date to create the safe space to get to know me. So then if he hasn't created that, then no, you're still not going to get it.
Right.
Okay, so then may I ask, as a cisgendered woman, let's just say if I do find that I like someone, but I did not ask the question about whether or not he was a transgender man or woman or what have you, then is it safe to assume that perhaps I should ask that even before we get to the dating process? Because I think some cisgendered men and women, before they would go out on a date with a transgendered person, they would want to know that information beforehand.
Oh yeah, I think that it is a question. I actually don't have a problem being asked that, but you do know that I'm an individual, and there are some people that will take offense to being questioned about something like that on the first question. But I do feel like if it's something that you're concerned about, like if it's something that you really just don't want, if you want to just make sure you never date a trans person, then you probably should ask, for sure.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, so the onus is on me then. You're right, Miss Sophia. I will...
Yeah, if it's on you specifically that you don't like that and that's not a preference, and you really want to make sure, then that's on you to ask.
Okay.
That helps. I don't think it's a problem. It's a question of being right and wrong. It's just like that's you,
right?
And this is your life, and you know what you want,
right?
and you know what you don't want.
Right.
And because we're in these situations where we know we're living in Atlanta, and then not only living in Atlanta, but living in the world.
In America, yeah. I don't think it's just Atlanta.
You know the different things and the change. We got terminology. In the gay community, we have all these different terminologies and stuff, and one person identifies this one day, they identify this another day. Then it got, the pansexual, the homosexual, the bisexual, all these different sections. So it's just like things change.
I didn't even know I was considered cisgendered until I heard it. I was like, oh, okay.
And it's
I never knew.
And it's not a new term.
I never knew that I would be considered cisgender. I just thought, I'm a woman. I was born a woman. So now, and I looked it up. I took the time to look it up, and I wanted to make sure that I was correct with the terminology and knew what it was. And I also, the other thing I want to say too, for people who are cisgendered like me, I don't think that, I can only speak for me. I am not somebody who is anti-transgender at all. I just know that if I did go out with somebody and if I'm really feeling you, I wouldn't want to know date 2, 3, or 4 that this was something that you were, because I knew that would be a deal breaker for me. That's just like if I met somebody and they were a smoker. I don't want to date. I don't like that. Right. So
but the only way you would know if they were a smoker without dating them is to ask before you get there.
You're right. So that helps to know that the onus is on me.
No, baby. If somebody smoke, you're going to know. They're going to smell like smoke.
Not always.
But you have to get there. But you have to actually get on the date to know that they smoke, unless you ask in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I ain't never known a smoker that I ain't know who smoke.
I've been on the jump seat with people that smoke, and I didn't know they smoked. I couldn't smell it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samaya. We really appreciate you. Please tell people what your organization is and who you work with if they want to, have other questions or further questions or be aligned with your organization.
Sure. So I want to start by saying, again, my name is Samaya Turner. The organization that I am the executive director of is Trans Individuals Living Their Truth Incorporated, TILT Inc., tilting the world towards change. And what we do is we're an advocacy organization that goes out in the community and does exactly what I'm doing on this call. We actually go out and we have these kinds of conversations. I've actually done lobbying. I do a lot of community engagement and organizing. And if you're interested in hearing more or booking me to do any type of speaking, my email is SIMAYATURNER, that's Samaya Turner @yahoo.com. You can also find me on Instagram and at Facebook at ATL Lioness. And that's ATL and then Lioness, like the one that growls at the baby. And thank y'all for having me.
Girl, you ain't no lioness.
You were wonderful.
You a cougar,
thank
girl.
you so much. This was fantastic.
This was great.
She a cougar.
I really wish we could have more conversations like this.
We can,
because it's really informative and it's helpful. Because sometimes when I ask certain questions of my friends who are in some people make you feel like that's the wrong question. You're being, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna ask because I don't know. And this was very helpful.
Thing to do, I think, when you don't know is to ask.
But sometimes people make you feel weird for asking, and then they couple it with making you feel badly for the way that you feel, because they take it as you're downing the trans community, and I'm not. But I do I want to be clear.
But I think.
Can I say something to that when y'all get a moment?
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what I want to say is, I don't want you to think that it's just you. It's us too. We're in the community and we go through that too.
Yeah, because trans and gay is something different. It's not necessarily the same, and we don't know necessarily everything.
But go ahead, Samaya.
One thing that I advocate for always is if you think about it, if somebody were to come to you as a person and began to just start asking you questions about a white person, would just to come to you as a black person and just start asking you questions about your experience, your first reaction is why do you want to know this? Your first reaction is what are you gathering intel for something? Like, why are you asking me these questions? I want to say that I think that it's amazing that people are curious. I want to also say that it's important that we self-educate too, because some of that questions that you have can be answered by doing your research on Google, doing like how you said, which I really respected earlier, was you Google, like looking up what cisgender meant, yes, and like actually realizing that it's not something that we're just saying to say, but it's a medical term to distinguish between the types of women and men.
Yes.
And so I appreciate you and your energy that you brought when you said that. That really made me smile, because that to me is true allyship. But I think more people should take that journey to self-discovery and not put it on just your trans loved one or friend to be your educator, because that's stressful too. To be the token for your people and to have to be the spokesperson. You know what I mean?
I completely get it. Thank you. That helps tremendously. Tremendously.
And Samaya, that's my girlfriend Jaquitta Williams, and my other friend is
Hi, Jaquitta.
Hi, Samaya. I just followed you on Instagram. FYI.
Wonderful.
And then my other friend that's in here is Jason Mclothin. We call him Pam.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Jason.
Hello.
All right, Samaya, I love you and thank you. This is your girl, Miss Sophia.
Love you more. Thank y'all for having me. Have an excellent evening.
You're welcome. You too. This is your girl, Miss Sophia. Hold it down right here. We are your radio. We're your radio. We are the home of the urban sound of pride. Y'all coming back next Saturday?
I would do it.
You, Pam?
I think we need to have more allyships too.
Oh, okay.
We really do need to do that more.
You want to bring Samaya up here?
I think Samaya would be
excellent. Samaya's excellent. I'm trying to see if she's available to come up here. But I'm your girl, Miss Sophia. Come on, baby. I'm not ready to say it all. Let's ride.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Your phone calls in.
Puerto Vallarta.
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-631-1754. 800-631-1754. 800-631-1754. That's 800-631-1754.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it?
What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Miss Sophia. Hold it down right here on We Are You Radio. We Are You Radio. We're the home of the urban sound of pride. Baby, I'm laughing because I'm in here with my good Judy, honey. Tell them who you are, baby.
I'm Jaquitta Williams.
And you are?
Jason Mclothin.
And George Dickens in here running the board and the cameras for us, honey. But we just been in here having a whole lot of conversations about everything. We talk about everything but sports. And we're going to get into some sports after this. But right now, we were talking about transgender. Transgender. And Jaquitta, my sister Jaquitta had some questions that she wanted to ask. And, you know, it's just like, I'm not transgender, so I know some people that are transgender. But I'll allow them to talk to you. So now on the phone, we have E.J. Nicholas.
E.J. Nicholas.
And E.J. Nicholas. Hi, E.J.
Hello, Miss Sophia. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. Happy Saturday.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us. And I have a couple of my friends in here, Jaquitta Williams and Jason Mclothin, and they have some questions. So we don't want you to think that if they ask you anything that may come across disrespectful, that's not why they're here. They're trying to be educated about who you are. So you can help us out from the beginning by telling us, how do you identify, EJ?
Okay, so my name is Elijah Nicholas. I'm an African American trans male, and my pronouns are he, him, his.
Okay. Now I'm gonna turn the mic over to my sister Jaquitta Williams because she's the one that sparked this conversation. So Jaquitta, it's all you and EJ.
Nice to meet you, EJ. So let me ask this. So if you, let's just say, if you do you date primarily in the community, or do you date whoever you find attractive?
So when you say community, what do you mean by that?
LGBTQIA+.
Well, I date, period. I don't date in a particular community.
Okay, so let me ask. So let's just say if you met a woman, you saw her somewhere, and you found her attractive. She's a cisgendered woman. How do you let her know that you are a transgender man? Is that something you say off the top, or do you wait?
No, I don't disclose that I'm trans. In the beginning, I don't walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, I'm Elijah and I'm a trans guy and I'm attracted to you," because I don't know that the person that I'm having a conversation with is a cis woman. All I know is that this is a woman. Okay. And so, really, for me, as a trans guy, as a guy, period, it doesn't matter to me if I meet a woman, whether she identifies as trans, whether she identifies as queer or cis or whatever. If I'm attracted to a woman, I'm attracted to the woman.
So do you find it that there's an appropriate time to disclose that information with somebody you are attracted to who you may be interested in dating?
I think that is situational. Because I'm not going to disclose who I am. Basically, what it comes down to in the bedroom, I'm not going to disclose that to a person that I'm just meeting, that the conversation may not be more than 5 minutes long. At the same time, if I'm getting serious with somebody, or I see that, this could be somebody that's interested in me and vice versa, then absolutely I would have a conversation.
And I'm not even talking about the bedroom. I'm just talking about an initial meeting. You exchange numbers. You decide that you're going to meet for coffee or something, and you go on the date. When is the appropriate time? And I guess you're telling me the answer is situational. So let's just say
it's situational.
Okay. Yeah. And so let's just. And I
say. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Let me let you do the interview. You got the question.
Okay. So let's just say if you do, you meet a cisgender woman. She does not know you're a transgender man. She likes you. You like her. You've gone out on date number 1, and let's just say if it's something simple, it's just coffee. You guys decide to follow it up with the second date, and you're vibing again. When do you believe it is important to tell a cisgendered woman that you are a transgendered man?
I don't believe that that's important. Just like I don't believe that it's important for a cisgender woman or a cisgender man to tell me that they're cisgender.
Huh. So then,
So let me ask this question, EJ. If you go on a date with a cisgender woman, and you know that you identify as a trans man, and if that cisgender woman asks you, if she's coming to you and she's like, "Hey, listen, I know we're in Atlanta, and and I don't everything you hear, you can't believe and all that." She say, "But I'm a cisgender woman. I'm looking for a man, so I just have to ask this question. I'm a cisgender. No, this is you talking to EJ. Mm-hmm. I'm a cisgender woman. And I just want to know, are you a trans man, or are you a biologically born man?" What would be your response?
My response to that would probably, being the person that I am, I would ask why that was important. Because I think when we have a conversation like that, is it about, and the reason I mentioned bedroom before is because the trans experience is so much larger than the bedroom. However, when I hear conversations like that, it's almost like we need to talk about the bedroom, because whether I'm a cis man or a trans man, is it really, I mean, let's call it out. Is it, do you want to know if I have a penis or was I born with a penis? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the, when you define man, when you say man, what do you want to know? What, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you identifying man? Do you just want to know if I got a penis, if I can give you babies, or what part of?
I just want to say something here, EJ, and I hope that I don't, again, my intention is not to be disrespectful. I hope it doesn't come off
just for the record, they're both allies of the community, so they're really
wanting
to come from a point of knowing.
I am gay. Okay. They call me Pam, so.
Okay, Pam.
And I am a cisgendered woman, so. Okay, go ahead. Go.
But and just listening to this, I'm trying to get my words because I don't want to be offensive, but I do. It's not important to you, but I think it's fair to say that could be important to someone else. Mm-hmm. So I think neither side is really being an ally if we're not honest with the fact that this is something that can be important for a lot of people. And if it's someone that you are dating usually leads to the bedroom. Yes. So you would want to know if the person has whatever it is you like in the bedroom. I think, so I think that's fair. I think. I don't know. Can you help me with that?
It's absolutely fair. And I guess it just depends on, the type of date that it is and other factors. For me personally, this is just me. Mm-hmm. I'm more interested in your spirit, in your energy, and in your vibration than whether you were born with a vagina or a penis. And I would rather ask probing questions around those things to know whether the person I'm having a conversation with even warrants knowing my gender and sexual identity. Because I'm just not going to disclose. But let me back up. First of all, if you know who I am and you follow me on social media, 9 times out of 10, somebody that I meet, they know that I'm trans because I'm openly trans. Mm-hmm. However, there's times when I travel or when I go places or whatever, mm-hmm. when I've met people, men and women, mm-hmm. that don't know that I'm trans. Mm-hmm. Now, let me caveat it with this. If it's somebody that I am sexually attracted to, and that's it, which has not happened, but if this happens, absolutely, I'm gonna be upfront. If I meet somebody somewhere and it's a mutual physical attraction, and we say, "Hey, this is what we about to do," then I'm gonna say, "Well, time out. I need to tell you something."
Mm-hmm. That's never happened to you, EJ? I'm kind of bringing it a little funny. You've never met somebody that you've just been physically attracted to ever?
I have. However, it's not anybody that I've been physically attracted to and was ready to jump in the bed.
Okay. It didn't happen like immediately or like the next day.
No. So let me say this also. I'm a celibate person at the time. I've been with one person since my divorce, which was at the same time as my transition. So I might not be the best person for y'all to ask.
You have a very specific situation going on. Very specific.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sexually active, not because I don't want to be, but because I choose not to be. And honestly, because for a lot of these reasons, like I think for me, the experience is so far beyond genitalia, and I know y'all allies, so I appreciate this conversation. But my hope is that we get beyond this, where we're in a genderless society, which I know that's a long way off. But I promise you, I understand where you're coming from.
I also think, though, some fairness should be allowed to in the fact of being a cisgender woman. If they are meeting a man, it is a good chance that they may want children. So again, that may be something that would be
important. You need to know that.
So
mm-hmm.
I mean, I think, and
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely, I completely agree. And let me just say this: I've been out and I have met women who I have assumed, I'm going to say assumed because I don't know, were much younger than me. Mm-hmm. And I have had a conversation in my mind and said, well, yeah, no, she ain't going to be interested in me because I can't give her no baby.
Right. Right.
But then here's the other caveat is, let's just say if you meet a woman who's older, and let's just say she's not interested, nor does she want to have children. However, she does want to be in a relationship with a man, a cisgender man. And if I ran into somebody who I really liked and I'm vibing with, but I don't know that he was cisgendered as a man, that would be an issue for me if I didn't know that off the top.
So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
It's Jaquitta, right?
Yes.
So when you say you're interested in a cisgender man, are you saying that you are sexually interested in a man who has a penis?
No, it has nothing to do with the penis. It has to do with the fact that I would like to be with a man who was born a man. It has nothing to do with sex.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with his genitalia. It has to do with the fact that I like a man who was born a man.
So what if I tell you, well, I was born a man, I just happen to be born with a vagina?
But in my mind, and then I will say this, I'm very type A, and things are very black and white for me. I don't know how to do gray. So if if you're saying you're a man, but you were born and you have a vagina, in my mind, you are not a man to me. You would be a transgender man, but you're not assigned at birth as a man.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I understand. I respectfully disagree, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
But see, you and I, if we met somewhere, we definitely would need to have that conversation up front, right? Because absolutely, like I would meet you and I'd be the fell out in love, and then you'd be like, well, wait a minute, let me see your birth certificate, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, we ain't got to do all that. Why we got to do all? Because here's the thing, what if for example, what if I never disclose? Some trans guys, and I can only speak for the trans male experience, never disclose that they're trans because they have had top surgery, bottom surgery, and you would never know if they were assigned to female sex.
Right? When I see at some point, I'm gonna see some of your kindergarten pictures
about your history
Listen, there are people who have burned, destroyed their past. I happen to be, I'm openly trans. I'm comfortable with Tasha, who was the female version of me many years ago. That's my story. Mm-hmm. But there are trans men who they never talk about the original birth certificate. They never talk about ever having a vagina. They don't talk about these things, and they have created intentionally a world where they could identify and tell you, yes, I'm a cis man. I have a functioning penis. I have no titties.
So then that means I would know nothing about your history. The person that you date with.
Absolutely not.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Because you bring up a good point. I'm just jumping in. I'm trying to be neutral, but you bring up a great point because I was thinking that, but I'm not in a position to say it. But you brought it up, EJ, and thank you. Because let's say you did meet this transgender man post-op who has a fully functioning penis. And you
How is that possible?
You got to look
at it. It's possible.
I need to research that. Yeah. Because I've never even that.
Yeah, but really? it is post.
Oh, yeah.
It is quite possible.
It works like that.
It is, yes.
Oh, ejaculation and everything?
Yes.
Oh,
everything you need.
Okay.
Yes. Everything you need.
Wait, So it has the capacity. So it has the capacity to ejaculate, but it cannot provide seed.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
I never knew that. I'm sorry. So is it? Do you build it or do they? Never mind. I'm gonna research that.
Please research it. It's all kind of everything you need. Won't that? That's what I'm saying, and that's why circling back to my initial response is: are we talking about the bedroom? Is it important that the penis is present? Like, what about being cisgender is important to you? Because
at some point, yes. Ultimately, if I like somebody, if I fell in love with somebody, if I wanted to be in a relationship with this person and we want to build a life together, no, I don't want children. However, at some point, there's going to be some physicality to the relationship. I would like to know that the equipment that he is working with is the equipment that he was born with rather than whatever happens
during the transition.
Right.
Well, let me say I understand your perspective, and this is no slight to anybody, but trust me when I tell you there are surgeons who make equipment that is, I will not dare go and say better than, but I certainly will say as good as, that you would never know.
Really? I am fascinated
girl,
by
I'm
that.
finna go to break a little.
Let me say this.
You might need to.
Listen, y'all better Google it. Because
EJ, never heard of that. EJ, thank you again so much.
EJ, what are you?
Hey,
what are you
absolutely.
on Instagram? What's your? I'm gonna follow you too.
Please do, Dr. Elijah Nicholas on all social media.
Dr. Elijah Nicholas, that's your name?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Find that. Mm-hmm. Thank you, EJ.
Thank you so much, EJ.
I hope I meet you at the club sometime. Now, just kidding.
My sister's very supportive. She come to my show sometimes.
Yes, I do. I love my.
Well, I need to come to your show.
Yes, my sister's very supportive.
I've never heard that before in my life.
Me either, girl. But y'all can have.
Thank you, EJ.
Thank you, EJ.
You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, EJ. This is your girl, Miss Sophia, holding it down right here on We Are Your Radio. We're your radio. We're the home of the urban sound of pride. Come on, baby, let's ride. My sister a lesbian.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners.